Hello ladies and gentlemen, now let's take a look in the Spiderfoot OSINT framework. Oh, I have to tell you that Spiderfoot is one of my favorite tools in all this toolset because it's too simple and requires a minimal interaction with me. All you have to do is configure, set the modules, and start, and just take a cup of tea and wait the results. Okay, something important that I have to tell you is that Spiderfoot doesn't come with Kali Linux, so you have to install it. What is very, very simple. I have created a directory, OSINT. I just download I made a clone from the GitHub, so you get all the latest version. I just have to install 4 to 5 dependencies, and if you try to execute the sf.py, he will check the dependencies if is everything okay. If it's not, the Spiderfoot will recommend you what packages you have to install, and that's it. Just start it. So just come over here. Python sf oops, and start. Here load WebRick local server, and we'll be listening in the local interface. I have told you in the article to have caution because this interface of Spiderfoot has no authentication at all. So everyone that points the browser toward this URL will access and see all the information that is available over here. So just leave these to localhost, or if you have plans to share this URL with someone, make sure that you have appropriate network filtering to avoid some problems. So I have the server listening, and we just have to open our browser and point it. Oops. 5001. Okay, here we go. This is the main interface of Spiderfoot. Over here you have this little tiny fancy spider. I hope you are not arachnophobic. Here you have the new scan interface. Here we have the scans that you have already did. There's no scan history. And here is our first entry. This is the settings. So over here we have all the module settings that you may configure. So let's take a look and make a fast and quick configuration. Then you can go ahead and see all the options more carefully and try to fit this a little bit well. So here you have the global settings. The global settings have all the main aspects of the Spiderfoot. Over here you can define a proxy, and you can set, for example, a Tor network to anonymity and go on. Pass the DNS through the socket proxies. Here you can define the user agent that will be the strings passed by the Spiderfoot libs to the web services that will query. Here we have the number of seconds before the HTTP request give up. Here you can set a DNS server that will override the DNS server of your machine. So let's put the Google, save the settings. Okay. If you do something wrong and just don't know what happens, click over here, reset to factory default, and everything will be fine. Over here you have the storage. This is the maximum bytes to store for any piece of information. We have this value. Let's put unlimited. Storage is not a problem. Save. Here you have the accounts settings. This is the accounts that Spiderfoot will try to enumerate when we looking outside. So If you have some account specific that you want to put here, go ahead and, for example, um, sales, just in case. The maximum number of simultaneous threads, okay, leave this alone, save. Here you have the AdBlock check. The AdBlock plus, here you have the list of blocked, you check. Bing, the fetch links, number of Bing results for page. Here you can set the blacklist checking, cross-reference. You check if the host that is enumerated is some defacement in some defacement checking. DNS, this is very interesting because here you have the common subdomains that it will try to brute force. So you can export a list and put over here, here's the most commons. And email, report email addresses not on the target based domain face, because if you turn this true, every email address that Spiderfoot finds when he's searching in the pages in HTML files and so on, he'll be reported. And by my experience, I know that will bring a lot of garbage, okay? So here is the metadata files that we'll try to analyze. This is pretty good, don't need to change. The Google module. This is interesting, this is the Honeypot checker. And to use this, you have to obtain API for the project honeypot.org. It's free, just go in there, register your account, and ask for an API. It will be quite fast. It's very nice. Interesting files is something that you should edit if you need to obtain more interesting files on the web directory that enumerates. So here you have PPT, PPTX, PDF, the domain offset files. So let's leave this. I prefer by my choice to use Google because Google brings more information than Yahoo or Bing. And just where we are, okay. Here you have the Honeypot checker. Okay, interesting file, junk files. This is very good because this little fellow will try to obtain some files that admins and developers leave and forget to delete, like zip, tar.gz, tgz, and file with distinctions like back, old backup. We can put over here like conf, ndb, skl. I'll try to fetch each of these lines from the directory of the URL. Here we'll try to fetch some of these files. If the developer or the admin lacks some nasty permissions in the files, this little guy will enumerate this first. Tries those extensions. He tried to enumerate the main extensions for URLs. Here we have the malicious check. What is this? He tried to check if the IP addresses or domain are related to some abuse of SpyEye, P-level, Alien Vault, AVG, or the reputation of the domain. If this domain has been reported by phishing or hosting malware or doing nasty stuff like this. So this is very interesting because if you find a host or domain in your target that has been already reported for hosting malicious files, this means that this environment was compromised at once, so maybe the vulnerability is still there. So much information. Name instructor. Pastebin. This is awesome because he will search around Pastebin looking for information, and we know that many hackers store information that they stole from networks into Pastebin. This is the PGP Key Lookup. This is the main port scanner ports that it will check by default. There's interesting TCP ports. This is very nice because if the Spiderfoot found some usernames and email addresses, it will check in the PWNet websites if this was reported to be compromised at once. Shared IP, you try to identify if the website or the roast are being shared by others. Show done. Show done, we have already see how it works. So you just have to go around and register your show done API key and drop over here. Okay. And here this is interesting because this module will try to enumerate some similar domains of your target because some companies register another similar domains. Social media profiles, let's change to Google. Okay. Save it. Spider. He is what the Spider, that is the engine that will try to download files from the find the hosts will ignore. We don't want to download every move, HTML and other stuff like this. Spider. Okay. There's the virus total. You just have to register and set the API key here. Yahoo. Okay. I think we are ready to go. Just save over here. So we are ready to start our first scan. Of course, I have my API keys to set up in this Spiderfoot stance, but I will not show you because the API key is mine. If you abuse using these APIs, I will be getting in trouble. So I'll just come over here and something magical will happen, and then when we come back I will have everything set up. So I'm saying the magic words, abracadabra. Okay, now we are good to go because the magic already happens and I have all my APIs configured and set on the settings of Spiderfoot. So when you click here in new scan, you have just two simple inputs you have to do. Scan name, you will name your scan, this is pretty obvious. So let's name it my first scan. And now we have to select the target. The target can be one of the following. And the Spiderfoot will automatically detect the target type and base it in the firm. You can use the domain name, IP address, host name, or a subnet. So for our first scan, let's try to enumerate something about our magazine. So eForensics.com. I hope Joanna don't become mad with me. Okay. Now you can choose what kind of information you want Spiderfoot to go around and grab for us. Well, I recommend you just we are willing to bring as much information as we need. I just unselect this. This will search all internet TLDs for domains with the same name as the target. And this is painful with slow. Because for each domain name that is similar to the eForensics magazine, he tried to enumerate eForensicsmagazine.com, .com.br, .co.uk, .net, and so on. So you can imagine the number of timeouts, the number of... So, no. If you want to try this in home, be my guest, but I don't recommend. So, now what we have to do? Oh my god, it's so hard. Just clicking Run Scan. You click it here and we are automatically directed to this page. This page will host all the informations, and the logs over here are automatic. Here now you can campaign all the stuff being loaded, and the results will be displayed here. So you have the total unique values, the status still running, and the number of errors. And as you can see over here, this page automatically reloads data every 5 seconds. And as we are running this into a virtual machine, this will be quite slow, and I recommend you to run this in a box with plenty of CPU and memory power. But is everything running? It is also searching to bing.com, and sooner some information will start to appear here. And if you come to the console, you have over here all the stats and the process going down. So as you can see, when he fetch information from Bing, Google, and so on, he makes some pauses. This is because these search engines have some policy that if you abuse requests, he will block and you will be no longer able to do any kind of search. So uh, I will let this running for a while, and then we can come and check it later. Okay? So see you in few seconds.
2,000 years later.
Okay, now we're back. I'll let the scanner running for a while, so you can see over here it's run for about 2.5 hours, and it still goes on, but I just aborted the execution so I can show you some results. If you click over here, you can rerun the scan. It will not resume, so it will start all over again. And if you click here, it will delete the scan. If you click here, it will clone the scan with all the previous configuration that you have set before. So let's click over here in the my first scan name, and here you have all the informations that he collected. So here you have the unique data elements, the total, and the last data element it taken. So you have over here the description, accounts of external website. If you click over here, it will do a list of all the data it takes for each module. Oh, over here you have a graphic with all the informations, the number of events, and the log of the activity. So if you let this running all along and seeing the log page, you can accompany everything. You have few errors. This is quite normal. Some of them can be fail to fetch content or timeout in connection. It just goes along. So you can check in browse for all the informations. For example, email address. Here they have some email address from where it collected, which model bring the information, and let's go through this. You have some malicious affiliate. So here you can have some information. You have some external URL and non-standard HTTP reader, and as much information as you can see, and you just going through and see if there's something that you can use it. But in general, most of the information can be very useful. Over here you have a graphic output of the informations, so you can zoom in and see the references between all the informations that Spiderfoot brings. Here you have a forced layout that is more organized. What is the main information that brings all other stuff? Here and here, the main one. So, Spiderfoot is a very, very interesting tool. I recommend you to test all the modules, see what kind of information it can bring when you search for IP addresses or the target subnet, and you'll be amazed with the number of information it will bring to you, and as I said, with a minimum requirement. So over here you can export the data, save this image. Here you have all the operation log if you need it for any reason, and you can review the settings of the scan. Okay, so hope you enjoy this and try it by yourself. Try to enumerate information about your own company and see what you can come around with this. Okay, so see you in the next video. Bye bye.